Let's do this with my notes. Hello? Hello everyone, what's up? It's Vanessa. So today I'm sitting here in my house alone because everybody left for winter break and I'm still here because I spent the week working. But I'm going home tomorrow, so I don't really have anything to do today. So I kind of figured I'd spend the day doing some like personal reflection and just like tidying up my mind. Given the new year is right around the corner, I wanted to talk a little bit more about self-reflection, and a lot of this is probably just going to be like me word vomiting as a way to reflect for myself. So 2018 was a really great year for me because I think that I learned and grew a lot, and that was definitely a product of me forcing myself to do a lot more self-reflection. So I went to Japan in August by myself for a week, and that's definitely the most amount of time I've ever spent by myself or in a foreign place not knowing anyone at all. And I think that during that time and throughout that summer, I did a lot of thinking about, things that I find most important to myself. I don't really know what I'm saying, but I hope that it makes sense and can be helpful to anyone who is trying to set goals for the new year, because that's what I'm trying to do. So let's just like stop and start the actual content of the video now. So I wrote down like I wrote down five, I guess, methods or tips or whatever you want to call it, things that I have done in the past year for myself that I have found to be very effective. So the first thing to do is to come up with sort of a personal mantra, or I guess like core values that you want to hold yourself to. And the way that I did that was honestly through like talking to people. I'm sure you guys can tell from my Instagram, but I'm really close with my hairstylist because we spend a lot of time together when we do my hair, and she's super supportive and we always bounce these kinds of ideas back and forth with each other. And we actually went to this summer class together at Stanford over the summer, and like I didn't attend all of the sessions. The sessions that I did sit in on were really helpful because the professor talked about this idea of having these 4 pillars or like core values that you hold yourself to. And so that's what I've been doing for the past half year, and I think it's been really effective in helping me identify other goals that I want to set for myself, or making sure that everything that I do is in line with what I see or envision to be like the best version of myself. In this past half year, those core values have been, I kind of call them like the ABCs. It's authenticity, balance, community, and positivity. So these are the 4 things that have really resonated with me personally throughout conversations with my friends and through self-reflection and thinking about what I want to embody as a person. In my head, this is how I think of it, like those core values are the concepts that guide me through life, and then things that I do should all feed to one of those pillars of me, if that makes sense. So once you have those, I guess, like core values or your personal mantra, it's really helpful to start setting goals that are actually really in line with those values, so that you have an actual purpose and you have something to work towards in your head of like, this is a goal that I'm setting, and the reason why I'm doing it is because I want to be like this. For example, I guess I'll just kind of walk through all this with like one of my core values that I've been trying to work on. So one of those is balance. And so if my core value is balance, that means that like ultimately when I think about myself, like I want to feel that I am an extremely like well-balanced person, whether that be balancing different tasks at hand or balancing different aspects of my life, like school, work, social life, and stuff like that. So if that's my core value of balance, if I were to say, oh, my goal is to be more fit, it's really helpful for me to think about like, why do I want to be more athletic or fit? It's because I think that living a healthier, like a physically healthier life will help me live a more balanced life. So I think that when you can connect your goals to these core like pillars or values, it really gives yourself an internal purpose as to why you're doing that and why you should hold yourself to it. So the third thing is to set actionable things that you can do to get yourself to work towards that goal. I actually like very consciously set like tangible things in my life to like cement these goals in my head of like what I was trying to do. The first one was authenticity, and honestly, like, I think that that's a word that is very open-ended and doesn't have necessarily an exact meaning, but what I've come to decide now is that, like, authenticity means to be the most honest, true to yourself version of your life. Does that make sense? So in order to get myself to constantly remember, I put it in my Instagram bio, and I know that that's like super random and it's not something that like I do actively every day, but I do use my Instagram every day, and I think that I decided that I wanted to approach social media with a different angle. So me putting that word itself, authentic, in my bio every time I go on my own profile, I see it, and it's a constant reminder for myself of what my ultimate goal is and like why I'm doing what I'm doing. So the next one was balance. And so what I noticed with myself is I have the tendency to be always running around doing like a million, or trying to do a million things at once. And I have a hard time prioritizing my own time, or like my own like decompression time in that. So I decided that something that I really wanted to work on was balancing like my own mental, personal awareness in the midst of everything else that I do. So something I've been trying to do is meditate more, and like honestly, I'm not very good at it. I know that ideally people meditate in the morning, but my mornings are usually just like pretty hectic, and I like to stay in bed for the maximum amount of seconds, so it just doesn't work for me in the morning. And I think that when I say meditation, I don't know if meditation's even the right word, but I use Calm and like apps and stuff like that to help guide me through the session. But a lot of the times it turns into just like a self-reflection, decompression kind of time, and like I'll have a lot of thoughts that come to my head that I find helpful to like jot down in notes and stuff. But that's something that I've been doing relatively consistently that I find really helpful. And I think it's been helping me reflect every night on like what I did throughout the day, and thinking about like how I used my time and whether or not I balanced like my work and my school and my social and stuff like that. So the next goal was community, and I know that that's like a weird sort of thing to say is a core value of yours, but I think that it's the best word that I could think of to really embody the idea for me that like I am a super strong believer in that you're an average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, or like the 5 people that you're closest to. Ideally for me, like the word community, what that means to me is being the kind of person that is able to facilitate a really positive environment for myself and the people and my friends. I really wanted to challenge myself socially this year by like pushing myself outside of my social comfort zone at school. So I actually joined a sorority, and never in a million years did I ever guess that I was going to be in a sorority in college, because I am super not a sorority girl, I feel like. But being in that environment has been really interesting for me, and I think that like, so something that I've been doing actively is like I go to our sorority house to eat like lunch or dinner, and I always try to get myself to talk to different people when I'm there. Like I'll just walk in, and like if I don't know a girl, I'll be like, hey, can I sit here and just eat with them? And a lot of times it actually ends up being a really amazing conversation, and you meet someone that's really cool that you didn't expect to. So this is probably my least tangible one, but I really wanted to encourage myself to spend time more intentionally with fewer people that mean more to me and make me happier when I'm with them. So like being cognizant of those friends that when you hang out with them, you're like, damn, that person's so freaking awesome, like I really need to spend more time with them. Like trying harder to make time for those people so that the quality of your time is a lot better, more so than spending time with people just because it's convenient. And I know that in the past I've had a lot of tendencies to like spend time with people out of guilt, kind of. Like even though I wasn't necessarily having the best time, I would still like hang out with people all the time just because I felt like out of obligation. Anyway, oh my gosh. The doctor says that my cough is fine, but I've had this cough for 3 weeks and I feel like it's not fine. The last value that I have, and the concrete thing that I do that ties to that, is positivity. And I know that like throughout life people have always told me that I'm a pretty positive person, but to be honest, I think that I never really saw that in myself, and I really want to work on that and encourage myself to not get bogged down by like things that are out of my control. There's an exercise that I try to do whenever I am like mostly at the end of the night on like a really rough or like packed day. And this is actually something that a therapist that I saw when I was in high school told me to do, and I like never listened to it because I just thought it was so dumb. But I actually do it now, and it's the idea of like taking things that concern you or stress you out during the day, writing them down, and then on the other side, writing down a way to think of it in a more positive light. I'll like sit down with 2 post-its. One of them, I write down everything that's like concerning or stressing me out or like that I don't like that's going on. On the other side of the post-it, I write down, like I think about something that I can do actively or a way to view the situation in a positive light. I guess another way to think about it is like it kind of funnels downwards into like concept and then goals and then actionable items. So my camera literally just died because I've been rambling so much and I'm not trying to wait for it to charge. I don't have a backup battery because I suck. So I'm just gonna use my phone now. But anyway, so there's only one more thing that I want to talk about before this video ends, and that's the 5th thing or 4th thing. I don't know, maybe it's just 4 things. I don't know. The importance of celebrating your achievements and like progress towards your goals or whatever that may be. I feel like a lot of times when you set really far-fetched goals for yourself, they seem like they may be unattainable, and when goals feel unattainable, it's really easy to just forget about them and then like not ever work towards them. So something that I actually do is I have an accomplishment jar, and I know it's like kind of cliche or like tacky or whatever, but I've been doing this since the start of this school year, and it's just this little glass jar that I have, and I write down just like moments in my life where I feel like I'm making a lot of progress or I feel really proud of myself for doing something. And that could be anything from like getting a new job to, I'll like read one of them or something. How about that? Oh, I just lost one. Maybe at the end of the school year I'll like read them all out, but they're pretty personal, so I don't know. Like having some exciting meetings at work and working on really impactful feature. This shit is gonna get made. So the startup that I work at is really special because I think it's one of the products or companies that I found that really is in line with like my personal mission as a designer. So whenever I'm working on exciting things, I feel like it really helps me work towards that whole idea of like me being a facilitator of like positive communities. So that's why I wrote that down. So yeah, these accomplishments can be anything from like something major, like I got a new job, or something really small, like I'm having really good meetings. And the whole idea of that is just like being able to feel like you're making progress and to make like a physical, mental reminder that you are doing cool stuff. So anyway, that's like really all that I have to say on the topic of resolutions and goal setting and stuff like that. I know that I was rambling a lot during this video and I'm probably gonna have to cut out a lot of it, but I hope that this was helpful in some way, shape, or form if you watch the whole video. And good luck with making your goals and resolutions. I'll see you in 2019. Bye!